through all these boards that I measured out and chopping them on the chop saw and then putting them through the router. So I'm only going to show one little clip here, and we'll lay them out on the floor. Only doing one side of the routering right now. I'm chewing off the entire thing in one pass. It seems to be working okay. So we'll find out if I burn out the bit or not. But this is the first step. We're cutting it to size. Safety glasses, or get out of the way.
Where did I put mine?
So we've opted to split the difference here. 6'6" is what we're going to lay the floor out as. It'll probably get cut down to 6 foot, but we're going with 6'6". This whole thing again is kind of the difference between the volume of water that we have to heat and the volume of water that we're going to be putting into the thing. 7 foot diameter, we're going to run at about 800 gallons. 6 foot diameter is going to be about 600 gallons. So we're going 6'6", and depending on how the boards all come out, we might cut it a little bit smaller. I'm going to try and spin the camera just a tad here, and we'll do the router on one piece, just so you can get an idea of how long it's actually going to take and how it's working. First few came out really good, so I'm going to do this one cut on the one, and I'll hold it up to the camera, let you see the joint, and hopefully I don't screw this one up, because the last few are pretty good. So a little bit of sawdust kicking out on the one side, but can only do what we can do. I can't have the shields down to collect it all, so we got the vacuum cleaner on for one, and this is what it is. So this was the first fail. The last three went really good. I'm not sure why this choked out on this one. These boards are pretty knot free. It's working nice. Let's try and turn this on again and see what happens here. I'm working this little router pretty hard. Like I originally thought I should be doing this in 2 passes to get this notch completely done. I may have to do that. I don't know. I haven't worked with routers too much before, so I'm probably overworking this thing. But I'm gonna try and finish this one off, and let's see what happens here.
In a second, I'll get the thing for you.
Yep. middle here in a couple spots, but overall pretty good. I might push this through one more time. So I think the problem that I'm having is the first couple that I did were pretty dry. This one's a little bit wet. Don't really have good enough lighting to be able to see that properly, I guess, but this is it. Right, this is what we're after right here. Pretty centered, not too bad. If it's off a little tiny bit, I'm not going to worry about it too much because this is the floor, and as long as we got everything even on the one side of the floor, that's my big concern. All the weight's going to be pushing down, and it's going to be supported underneath really well. So I'm probably going to push this one through one more time because I got some rough spots in the middle, and again, I think it's because this one is wet. This is a really heavy piece of wood compared to a couple of the other ones, but that's the gist of it. So I'm going to turn this off and just kind of keep on plugging along, and we'll catch up at another step here. Okay, so I'm going to turn the camera on for the routering of one more because that last one that I tried to do had a little bit of an issue. We discovered that had a little bit of a bow and a crook in it, and it was probably the way I was holding it. So we're going to try and run this one through on camera and see if it looks a little bit smoother. Okay, so get the vacuum. Gougy spots there, but the top is good. See it again. This is another wet one. You can tell by the way it's cutting, and you can feel the moisture in it. So I got a couple little gouges that are both on one side, but that's going to be the bottom. I'm not going to worry about it. As long as the top is even, the bottom will be okay for some flaws. So I'm going to push this through one more time and just try and clean it up a little bit. And you feel how wet this is though. Like it's moist. So let's try this. Here. Not too shabby. Seems a little off center. The other thing I found out too though was we took a pair of calipers to these and they're off a little tiny bit. I mean, that's just going to happen at the mill. You know, nothing's going to be perfect. We could have possibly run them through the planer, because if they went through the planer then they would all be dimensionally correct, but some of them are wet and things are gonna change. This is gonna be a tub full of water. It's plenty enough joint to seal, I think, and it's really pretty smooth. some of these tough ones, I think I'll just have to run it through a second time. So once again, I'm going to kill the camera and we're just going to keep on rolling. Here, we're going to try this a third time. We have got all of the female joints done on everything for the floor. We're now doing the male ones. Dimensions are off a little bit because we never ran it through a planer. I don't think I said this yet, so I'm just going to say it now. Should have ran this all through a planer before we did it. But we're going to push one through the router, show you what it looks like on both sides when they're done. I know it's going to be off a little tiny bit. We're going to deal with that when it comes. Problem with not having a planer set up. And take 3 was a victory. So here we go. And this one's actually pretty close to even. It's a little, you can see it's a little off on one side compared to the other side. It's not exactly centered, but you know what? We're going to sort these out when we put it all together and we'll get it all really close. We might plane it a little bit. There's the other side that we did on it. There's one we just ran. So lots of color in some of these boards. We're laying these all vertically on a set of sawhorses over here. I'll try and spin the camera just so you can see everything is being set up on the sawhorse there. Putting the longest ones in the middle, going out to the narrowest ones on the outside, so when we start putting this together on the floor, it'll be easy. This is where we're at, and yeah, I'm going to cut again here. So the one thing I'll end on saying is, if I were to do this all over again here and be a little bit more prepared, one of the things that would have happened would be we wouldn't be using a very cheap router table. Bargain basement. This router table is Canadian Tire / Princess Auto equipment. You know, we get the stuff on sale up here in Canada at really affordable prices, and some of it's pretty good quality. You got to be careful what you buy. This would be the equivalent to Harbor Freight for you guys down south of the border in the States. You know, I know lots of people buy Harbor Freight stuff, and a lot of it's really good. Some of it's complete crap. We go through the same stuff here. You know what? You buy what you can afford, and you make do with it. It is what it is. Don't have the money to buy all the real fancy DeWalt stuff and Milwaukee's. You know, I don't own a single DeWalt or Milwaukee tool, I don't think. I wish I did, but I don't. That's life. Deal with what you can afford to use. So, we're out. We'll come back a little bit later. And yeah, once again, here's my shop helper, and here's our wood that we got finished on the sawhorses and the stuff we're chipping away on the floor. We'll be back again.